Hi all. Alright, back with more DD at Saipan. This is part 16 and we have landed our units. Yeah, we have to play some units out, haven't we? That's where we're at. Yeah, sorry. Just a couple of things. There's not an awful lot to talk about. I got a reply from Joe regarding my query about the priority within artillery fire. To be honest, it's still not spelled out to me, but I think I'm being a bit sort of, I don't know what the word is, but I'm skirting round about the fact that the order, I mean, he's just listed what's written in the rules. I mean, he spoke about the game turns 1 to 4 in a field of fire of the colour of the drawn card and in or adjacent to a beach hex. I get that. That's where it talks about priority. That is a priority. I get that. Okay. Where do you go next? And maybe this is where I'm being a bit awkward, if you like. I don't think that's quite right, the word. Because the next rule talks about inflicting artillery's debt losses and disruptions. And it's just the wording. When a US unit is a target of artillery fire, well, okay, there's multiple units in there that are in beach hexes, right? And they're in the field of fire of yellow, right? But the only guidance there is when a US unit is a target. It doesn't sort of say that this is where you go first. You go to an intense field of fire hex and you look for the symbol on the card. It doesn't say that. It's all whens. When a US unit is the target of artillery fire, the following results are possible. They're possible. And Joe's put a note in there saying, remember, this is for each artillery hit. Yeah. Okay. And then it goes on, if the target hex is an intense field of fire. It's not saying to you that that's where you look first. You directly look at. I'm pretty sure I've harped on about this long and far too much. You know, it's all this ifs and whens and possibles that are not guiding. Yeah. And then after the steady part field of fire, my finish to it was, this doesn't make it clear to me anyway that even targets in intense fire take priority as it's worded if the target hex is an intense field of fire. However, I'm sure this is the case. Joe's just added, all the above are still true. That doesn't... I'm just wanting an order of how it is. You know, and okay, maybe I'm being pernickety, whatever. I don't know. There's a better word in there for me, I'm sure. Keeping it clean, of course. Yeah. And then I also finished it off and he answered this. Also, can I assume from the important note that if I target a unit in an intense field of fire that doesn't have the target symbol, that unit would only take a step loss and not be disrupted? And he's answered yes to that. So I mean, the way it's written down is, I'm assuming. So I've replied with this. Hi Joe. Again, this doesn't make this clear to me as the rules are written. All these whens and ifs don't direct me to even the first priority beyond in a field of fire of the colour of the drawn card and in or adjacent to a beach hex. That is the only bit that directs me to prioritise a target. But again, you know, Martin's come to this assumption. Actually, I asked Martin where he got that information. You know, how did he decide that it was intense fire and the symbol? And he said he just guessed. So, you know, maybe it's more clear, common sense, clear there if you like. But come on, you know, I mean, just write it down properly. So I said I can only assume that the priority order after that should be, and I've got A, B, C, and D here. A is a hex in intense field of fire that has a unit with the target symbol. If more than one, then player's choice. And then B, a hex in intense field of fire that does not have a unit with a target symbol. If more than one, then player's choice. And then I've moved on to steady field of fire with the same, you know, steady field of fire looking for hexes with a target symbol, and then steady field of fire. If you've still got hits to dish out, you go through that. And that's how it should be written. Something like that. I mean, maybe it could be slightly better worded or whatever. But just, if I read that, you know, if I'd read that from the start like that, you know, the priorities are in the field of fire, of the colour of the card, in a beach hex, then within the priorities, within the selection, a hex in an intense field of fire with a target symbol, if more than one, then player's choice, and then just go through them. We wouldn't have all this. So, and then I finish with, and my understanding is that a hex/unit may only be targeted once in that phase. It does say a unit can only be hit once, and it says you spread out the hits amongst hexes. So my assumption is that you can't target the same hex within that phase. So you've got to look for different hexes, my guess is unless you ran out of hexes, you could double back onto another hex, but you wouldn't be able to target the same unit. But I suppose it's unlikely you're going to get to that, I think. Right, but anyway, there we go. Like I said, maybe I'm being slightly awkward, but it was kind of frustrating that and annoying that I was just to assume that was the priority order. And there was nothing. There's also nothing. I mean, it hasn't mentioned steps. It hasn't mentioned closest to. The only one that he mentioned was what was that? If it was overstacked or concentrated, but it tells you that in the rules as well. I understand that. So that's all he replied with, and then he's still not even responded to Martin. Martin's follow-up question was, is it player's choice after that? So again, he's not. Even in my answer there's nothing that says, yeah, you do that and then it's your choice. If you've got the choice between two, it's your choice. Why not add that as well? Why not finish everything off? You can see what I'm trying to ask. Okay. Just a few comments from Martin on part 14. He starts off rather smugly with, okay, I'm typing really slowly now that you mentioned that Scottish people might read this, and we all know how long it takes to read all the big words. Yeah, very good, Martin. Anyway, carrying on, at the 7-minute mark, he's talking about my reference to where does he get how the 3 actions per division gets removed. Well, he's just read into that. Actually, hang on. I've got replies as well, have I not? Damn. He's just read into that. I mean, maybe I would have myself. Maybe when it came to that phase, at turn 5, we would have seen it clearly. He says it's not in the rules, but since a unit is either in command and thus has reactions, or not in command and must use the special free movement action, the 3 actions per division rule is no longer relevant. So, I suppose when you read it that way, it kind of tells you that they're not there. But I said, okay, I guess that explains that. I do think it would have been wiser to state that the player no longer has these 3 actions per division. I'm pretty sure it would get past some. If you hadn't brought it up, I would have carried on giving 3 actions per division. And my guess is that some people playing this game probably have done the same. However, I have finished it off with maybe it would have been clearer come the time. So it might be that when you get to that stage, you realise that it might be that you don't need 3 actions the way it's. Everybody should be getting actions, but I don't know. It just seemed, yeah. Anyway, the LVT, what was that? Yeah, this was the one. When I was talking about an LVTA maybe making the move, when you're moving from a steady field of fire, you would spend that 1 extra movement point, and we realised that because it's disrupted. Well, we got that answer actually. Joe answered that saying that was fine. You didn't need to spend that movement point. And I had my follow-up question, but Martin's picked up on it that I reckon the way it's worded that it has to be tanks that would allow you that, not give you that one extra movement point penalty, rather than LVTs, and he has kind of agreed with that and said based on Joe's responses to the other LVT/A versus tank questions, I believe it makes sense that the rule only applies to tanks and not LVTs. Which that's what I thought, but. Okay. And then the word attrition, that I'd read, admittedly just in a designer's note, but it was a designer's note that's saying that you could remove depth markers with attrition, and I'm like, I can't remember reading about that. Martin's response is, it's clearly yet another badly worded section. There's no attrition results in this game. So that was that. Okay, and then now we're talking about, I get this wrong, and it's me reading how things are written and taking it in a Grantos type way. Where was that? Well, it doesn't matter where I look. We're talking about CC here, and I'm confused. My question was, how can a US unit get disrupted within a CC? However, that's not how it's worded. It's not. It says, need to get the rulebook out better. Yeah, it's on page 21, I think, 8.6.6, disruption in CC. Second bullet, being disrupted does not affect a Japanese unit's conduct of CC. Right, fair enough. Whereas a US unit disrupted during CC, you know what, even when I read that there, how would you read that? A US unit disrupted during... See, I think you could read it both ways. You could read it as that it's disrupted while the CC is going on, or you could read it as it's disrupted while the CC starts. At least I could. So, whereas a unit disrupted during CC must spend a CC round removing disruption. And that's not what it means. Martin's answer was, I believe the rules are referring to a situation where the Japanese assault a US unit stack that already is disrupted. And then when I read that, I thought, when you read it, it does actually... I knew that a US unit could start in a disrupted state. I thought what that was saying was it could be disrupted within the close combat, while the close combat was going on. And I couldn't work out a way how that was done. But I can read, when you read that way, it means disrupted during the CC, the unit's disrupted, it's got to spend a round to remove its disruption or whatever it does. So I think to be honest, there's a bit of both there. There's a bit of maybe me reading it wrong, but I still feel there's a wee bit that the way that's worded, you could maybe take something of what I was thinking. Maybe not. Okay, and then I misread as his follow-up part, which was he's got in brackets, of course, it's not impossible that you could choose to disrupt 2 units instead of taking a hit at some point during development. And I've not quite finished off reading that sentence. And I'm thinking, you can't take 2 hits. You can't disrupt 2 units in a close combat. And I'm looking for it, I couldn't find the rules. So I replied, I don't see an option to disrupt 2 units instead of taking a hit within CC, however, but I'm sure you could prove me wrong. He comes back with that this morning and was just saying that there is no such option for CC. I simply stated that it was reasonable to believe it was an earlier draft of the rules and that the wording remained. After all, the rulebook seems to consist of a lot of copy-pasted rules of different origin, or they wrote it using the Whisper game. Which, yeah, I mean, so I responded to that, it seems that although you were typing really slowly, I wasn't reading this really slowly. I see what you're saying now, yeah, okay. So, yeah, I get what he's meant by that. But I still think there's a wee bit in the wording that I could get away with, maybe. This was field of fire, being in the field of fire for barrage. Yes, you must have a unit in the field of fire or the position you want to barrage. And then he's got in brackets, barrage requirements are the same as attack requirements, and naval/air requirements equal artillery points. And I think this was an answer to the question he got regarding that. I'll maybe come back to that if I need it. But yes, we need to be in the field of fire. So you can't go barraging the pillboxes up there, well, unless you're adjacent to them, because that's the only place that they fire into. So somebody would have to be up there to be able to try and do that. However, the one that we did do, I think was, well, pretty sure was legal, which was down there. Sorry, strange angle, bit of glare. Because we were in its field of fire and whatever. Oh yeah, and I got a comment for Bill. Sorry, I haven't responded to that yet, Bill. I just noticed that it was there again. He was rooting me on to draw for the naval gunfire, and I chose to use the airstrike. Remember, and we got the result that we did destroy the pillboat. So I was like, oh no, I know, I should have stuck with it, Bill. I shouldn't have looked at the card that was lying there already in the discard pile, because that's what threw me off. Because I think I would have went for it. Something else there. Yeah, in fact, I didn't think about... Yeah, while we're there, I never thought about doing that again within the action phase, did I? Mind you, when I got down here and realised about it and started thinking about it, this was kind of like me at the end of the action phase. But there's a couple of positions I could have... I could have potentially... Unless we made an attack on that, of course. I think we did we not attack that and remove the depth marker, and then this other unit moved up? So I think we'd already attacked that position, so maybe not. Well, yeah, maybe that's it, because there's nothing else revealed, is there? Well, that one has. I think we attacked that as well, though, didn't we? I'm just saying, I never really thought about any other barrage options, because I still had an airstrike point and a gunfire point, naval gunfire point. And the other thing, just while I'm there, I might make an adjustment here. Now, we've landed units already, haven't we? You know what? I looked at it again and I thought, oh, you know what? It's all right. Because I didn't put stuff into here. I didn't land. Oh, yeah, it was the landing that I was going to adjust. So that would be okay, because that's the last thing that we've done. It's just that I want stuff to attack here as well, assuming they don't get disrupted. I want to be able to... Yeah, but your problem there is, Grant, it's all got to be from the same battalion. You've got that one extra unit that you can use. This is disrupted. This was a heavy weapons unit. So, I don't know, if we go with 1st Battalion of 25th Regiment, we've got one unit there. And then these two are at range. Oh, he's on... There's actually 3 at range. I put the circle at the top because I thought he was one of the targets, wasn't it? In fact, did I not do that elsewhere? Yeah, well, I'll just leave that engineer. I've got the tanks at the bottom. Where else did I bring it up to the top? Was it this one? That's fine. Just leave that. So, I might just have a quick look before we start. Just that. But again, like I say, if you can only attack with one... It's just I maybe could have... Nah, you can't really, Grant. You can't really do that. Because you can only have really 2 companies and the headquarters stacked, or you're then going to be overstacked. So how can you get... No, that doesn't work anyway, Grant. You can't attack with another unit from a different battalion. We know that. So although the HQ could command one other company from another battalion of the same regiment, it still can't help with an attack. Right, we've been there before. Okay, yeah, I think I'll just be leaving it as is. Right, finishing off. God, I thought it was only going to be a 10-minute at most. Yeah, and then I think this is the last point. He mentioned, it was when I was talking about moving my tank, no, not tank, LVTA, I want to say. When I was moving it from here, which is it's on a road, up to being on the railroad, and I wasn't sure. I felt like I could just go up the road here. And Martin's replied, but it wouldn't make sense to have to perform a breakdown check when you can move along roads for free, as long as there are no Japanese units nearby. To be honest, that reminded me, because you move along the road, but it's got to be within 3 of a Japanese unit though. But then I would still be able to use my 3 movement points anyway. I'm not talking about trying to move unlimited. I would still be able to go, sorry, it was in there, wasn't it? 1, 2, and then 3 along that road. But going from there to there was actually going into the railroad. And that's why I took the card draw check, and unfortunately we broke down. He says, then again, perhaps unwritten rule is that you should treat that type of movement separately. I just went, yeah, it does seem a bit off, but not that clear rules as written. Then again, not that clear rules as written, in quotes, could be a response to many things in this game. Yeah, okay. So, that's it up to now, so that's where we're at. Okay, yeah, I think I will just leave this down there. I'm starting to not really be too fussed, to be honest. I think I've said already that I'm not so sure I'm going to carry on with the campaign. Well, I tell you what, I'm certainly not going to if we don't find out how we carry on, what victory conditions, how many points we need, and what the actual victory line is that we need to be adjacent to. But again, Joe, he has been answering the questions, just generally not in the way that I would. Yeah, okay. Let's not go on. Right, where are we at then? We've done the US amphibious landing. Oh yeah, we've got to place. Right, okay. We need some reserves to place. And I was thinking again about this Japanese reserves, but are these coming on a different game turn? No, these are all game turn 3. Is that right? They've got game turn 3, game turn 6, game turn 8, and I think there's game turn 10 and maybe game turn 12, I want to say. So these are for 3 as well. And I'm pretty sure that these references are definitely, if I looked up the setup for the second scenario, I'm pretty sure that these units would be getting deployed somewhere. Well, why don't you have a look, Grant? Okay, there we are. Page 30, 18.3.2. This is Japanese setup. This is for scenario 2. All Japanese units began with an unrevealed side face up. Yeah, it's the third bullet down. Japanese units from all scenario 2 groups not placed on the map, and those listed as arriving on game turn 3 in the reserve display, are placed face down in the Japanese reserve units pool. And then it says units in the reserve pool on the setup display for game turn 6 and game turn 8 are placed in the Japanese reserve pool on the game turn indicated. So they definitely get put in here. But am I not right in saying a tank is... Yeah, a tank's two-sided, so we can't mix that up and randomly select that. Well, without putting them in a cup. So... yeah, well, I've uploaded part 15. I get the feeling Martin's going to straighten me out with that one and tell me where I'm getting the simple things wrong, I think. As long as you type it slow enough for Martin. Okay, so that's the first set of units, the first battalion to be placed. This is for game turn 4, so these will land on game turn 4. And it's any green beach. It's only the 4 units of the 2nd Battalion of the 2nd Regiment. So I'll go for green 3, I think. There's plenty going on in there. Well, they're obviously they need to wait on their HQ landing as well. Obviously the HQ's come in later, so yeah, I'll put that there, and then we've got a tank for. We get this tank 2C2T for Blue 1. A little bit odd because he's from 2nd Marine Division and he's landing across beside the 4th. So, my impression with how I was dealing with this, although again, the fact that maybe some of it's still not really clear, was that this would get this could be in command of an HQ from the 2nd Division, so I wouldn't have considered it being able to get a free action from an HQ from the 4th Division. However, there is this part that again I don't see it being all cleared up yet. But I haven't read that deeply into it. Martin was replying again to Joe about this, about them tanks and engineer units joining up. What was the word? It's on the HQ face, wasn't it? Assign tank and engineer units to US battalions. Well, I still don't know what that's involving, but it doesn't come into game turn 5, and you know what, I might not be here then, so that's where it says it lands. Blue 1, sorry. And then we've got any blue or yellow beach, and there's a big bunch here. Sorry, I've got these wrong. I look at it says 3/2/2, and I'm thinking the first number is that, but it's not. So it's actually 3rd Battalion of the 2nd Marine Regiment of the 2nd Marine Division. So it's not the guys. Hang on. Okay, so it's these guys. It's the 3rd Battalion of the 2nd Regiment of the 2nd Division. Hope I've not done that before. Just the way I read it wrong, but anyway. Right, we caught it in time, but yeah, I believe that tank's right, because it's just 2C/2T, which is what that is. Right, I'll get the ones for, these are any blue or yellow beach, so I don't know if I can make it split, because we've got some tanks here, and a battalion and some other stuff. Hang on. Okay, so this is what we've all got to land. I've not decided where they're going yet. I've just put them in yellow 1 at the moment, because I have the choice of any blue or yellow beach. And then we've still got another couple of tanks to go. And then there's artillery points. Right, hang on. Blue 2 or yellow 1, 2A, 2T tank. Wait a minute. Right, so I thought it was worthwhile finding out where these... This can go in blue 2 or yellow 1. And this can go in any yellow beach. And then these can go in any blue or yellow beach. Okay. Right, well, where's the best place to put the battalion? I think I put them here thinking that this might be the best spot. Yeah, I think we'll just go with that. I mean, I suppose there's more space in there, but there's an awfully big crowd of units in there, isn't there? It's a wee bit less so here, and then there's quite a crowd here. I mean, the other option was down here, but yeah. I'm tempted to maybe... I think this tank, what is it, 2B2T, he can go in any yellow beach, so I think I'll put him in here to land. And then I think I'll just leave the battalion in here. Now, obviously, if I'm putting the battalion in here, it probably makes more sense to have the headquarters. Now, where's the other units from 24 then? Oh, they're way down there. Well, that's not clever then, Grant, is it? You've got kind of 23 up there. You've got 25 in here. And you've ended up with the 24 down here. Oh dear. That's not good at all then. Because it kind of means I want these guys down here, don't I? And look at this big chunk of stuff, which wouldn't surprise me if a lot of this is getting hit. Because brown can shoot once and blue can shoot twice. And they're all in brown. Well, this one's not in blue, I don't think. But these are all in brown and blue in 10s. So if we get brown and blue on the card, there's going to be a lot of shot up stuff down there. And if I'm then wanting to land another battalion with its headquarters in there, I've kind of got to do that though, haven't I? It doesn't make sense. I mean, so let me rethink that tank then. That was any yellow beach, I think. So, right, hang on. Well, I guess we kind of got to it. I can only hope maybe, well, if brown and blue doesn't fire, that's great. If brown wasn't to fire, maybe we can get an attack on that, disrupt it, move these units, maybe move something else to make some space. It could well be that we're going to have to land overstacked as well, but I don't know. Okay, right, now the tanks then. because I wanted to put a tank down here, but will I still put a tank down here? Seems to maybe be a bit daft, that, because I'm going to be struggling to get everything on. I mean, I suppose it might be possible. Ideally, this stack maybe moving into here if it could. If we can just use this to attack that and then move that from there to there, this would be a movement under fire, admittedly, but... And then that would just free up space there. Hopefully that can move. Right. So, and these can go in blue or yellow. Yeah, okay. Right, give me a sec. Okay, I'm just going to settle on that. So put that one in there. Left these two in here. And I put one in there. And maybe I shouldn't have that one in there. See, this one's from the second division as well. And so is that one there. So, I don't understand how we can give them an action. Well, we need to give them an action. But here's the thing, Martin's just said, these are going to, well, unless they can attach, they're going to have to be able to, aren't they? If they're across this side, well, it might be better. 1C4T, that's any beat, so it'd be better having one of them across there, and maybe that one in 2B2T can go in any yellow beach as well. Well, I think it'd be better keeping them across this side, to be honest. And then 1A4T, can he go? Yeah, he can go any blue or yellow, so I'll do it that way. Yeah, okay, that's enough, Grant. Get on with it. Right, so we're on game turn 3, and I was just looking there that this is on the master reinforcement list back at the back of the book, page 31, which it tells you the units. Now, I was reading through that. I've put all the units in the beach landing boxes, and then right at the end of that, it's got artillery points 14 for the 4th Marine Division. But I'm thinking that is on game turn 4. So game turn 3, I look back on that. That's where it shows the artillery points there. It's a strange place to put them though, because you're having to, you could, well, I don't know, Grant, maybe you're picky, you're being picky there. So it says game turn 3, it says artillery point 6, 2nd Marine Division. Right, now we've got a counter for that somewhere. Right, okay, I found it. So that goes there. Oh, sorry, I'm stretching over here. 6. That's for the 2nd Marine Division. They've got 6 points. Now, I won't go heavily into that because, again, I'm not sure we're going past game turn 4 anyway. But they last until... They're there for the next 2 turns. And then come game turn 5, which is a new day, my understanding is that we would get 6 again. And if there was anything else added to it on game turn 5, which there is not. However, game turn 6 would add another 8. So then that would take our maximum per day to 14, and then come the next day we would get 14, and then add on any more on. I think that's as far as it goes actually with them. So I think that's how it works, but we can work that out if we actually get there. So okay, that's everything set up. Can we move on now then? Right, so there's no HQ phase, first event phase. Let's get an event. Let's get something exciting. Let's get a hero, come on. Let's get something. Right, so we're on game turn 3, drawing a card. Here we go. Right, again, you can hardly see it. Right, well I can see it now. Right, so it's all turns, remove Japanese disruption. And we're not on turn 4, so there's not a Japanese counter battery. And the Japanese are not fleeing, which would be from game turn 9. So yeah, that's horrendous. Like, I think I just talked about how brutal an event that was, and well, yeah, it is. So all the yellow positions that we have been holding down, and I should put that in the event box, just in case we need a reminder, are going to be undisrupted. So you can see there's 2 up there, one there, and then worse still, this red position that we spent that artillery strike point and wished we had spent a naval gunfire point. At least that would have done something, because the pillbox wouldn't be there now. But however, that's going to undisrupt as well. And obviously the worst of that is we're just the next phase is the Japanese fire phase. So okay, I'll take the disruption off and we'll get ready for the worst. Right, okay, so things looking even worse now. Right, well let's just move on, Grant. We've got a little bit more time just now, so hopefully I can complete this Japanese fire phase and we can wrap a part up, and I should get back later, hopefully, and get our US action phase. And hopefully we're not too beaten up by then. Although nothing disrupted at all from the Japanese point of view on the map doesn't bode well, does it? Right, here we go. So Japanese fire card for the turn, is that right? Draw a fire card. Oh, now we do have, well, let's get the card drawn. Right, there we go. Well, we got yellow, so they would have been undisrupted. And we don't have red. Oh, I tell you what. Brown, there's no brown, there's no blue. Okay? And there's no red. Look at that. Down here. That is, you know, I mean, we are going to get hit, but I'll tell you what, I think they're really good colours. I think we've lucked out there. I think we've got, lucked out. Lucked out's the opposite, is it not? Lucked out, no, I mean you've not had good luck, Grant. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. A couple of bad parts though. I'll tell you what, I think in the older games, the R action didn't kick in. I'm sure the machine gun action did. It's maybe slightly different between Omaha and the other 2. However, I've got a feeling that the R action kicks in on game turn 3. Now, it'll show us on that chart. So, yes. Indeed. So there's Japanese fire action summary. You can see that, obviously the normal colour, that's always in play. And this, I hadn't quite noticed that at first, hasn't affected us. So that starts turn 3, that this can turn up and hit leaders. I mean, they've been able to hit leader symbol in intense fire anyway, but if you're in steady fire now, then it would need to have the star to hit. The machine gun part starts this turn, and in fact, I'm just looking up there at that unit. I think that's going to be relevant. As Martin pointed out to me, this is a machine gun unit. It's in yellow. It removed its disruption, and I'll tell you what. See if yellow had stayed disrupted. Yeah. Well, anyway. I'm sure some bad things are going to happen though, Grant. Still, well. There's definitely going to be some bad stuff. And yeah, you can see there that from turn 3, the R action kicks in for us. So, oh no, it's the other way about. Sorry, I thought the machine gun action was on the yellow. It's not. Machine gun's on the purple. The R action is on the yellow. So just a quick look at that R for resupply. If no depth markers present, add depth marker to the Japanese occupied position and then fire. That's exactly what that guy there is going to do. He's not going to use the machine gun because I misread the thing. So he's going to build a depth marker and then fire and hit 2 units. So there you go. That's how brutal that can be. But we do have like redeploy if it's occupied with no units in its field of fire. Sorry, that's what. This would be occupied with units in the field of fire, occupied without units in its field of fire. And then reinforce is going to play some reserve units. So, yeah, we're maybe going to have to make a decision on how we deal with these reserve units in the pool. And this tank. I mean, I can still randomise between them all. Yes, I could do that. As long as I felt which side was which to keep them unrevealed. I dare say it could work. Yeah, but you can see, place reserve unit with depth marker and fire. It's brutal. And that's if it's an unoccupied hex that's in communication. Right, a US unit needs to be within 3 hexes of it for it to work. So, glancing about, yeah, I can see one. I can see one down there. Sorry, I know I've been dragging the camera about a bit and it's a wee bit noisy and I should be pausing more. But anyway, right, so that's what we've got. So it's not all going to be good anyway. Here was me saying that red, brown and blue are not going to fire. However, we've just noticed this is in communication. It's within 3 hexes of a US unit. This is going to take a reserve unit with a depth marker and fire. How brutal is that, eh? This is where the game starts showing you its, yeah, the nastiness. Right, okay, let's start up the top here and work our way down then. So, now yellow was actually firing into here, wasn't it? Yeah, this guy's already disrupted. Well, we've got the R action, and this guy's not got depth, okay? So, and this, he does have somebody in his field of fire. So, that is just what I read. I showed you them already. I'm not bringing that chart out again, because, yeah, if you're playing the game, you've got these charts yourself, so I'll tell you what I'm doing. So, it's an occupied, there's occupied US units in the yellow position's field of fire. We're on turn 3, so we have the R lettered action attached to that yellow colour. So it's the first column and it's resupply. If no depth marker is present, add depth marker to Japanese occupied position, then fire. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to draw a depth marker around, well, there's a big pile of them. So that's going under there. This unit's going to fire. The good thing is that bit doesn't really matter. You can only hit him. These were outside the range. This guy is going to get hit and disrupted. He's another one that's needing another step loss counter, isn't he? So he's now down to 1 step. Always knew he was in a bit of bother up there. I think was he the one that drifted? I think he must have been it. That's right, isn't it, Grant? Yeah, so he's taking a hit. Now, generally turn them and just make sure I don't hit them again, but I'm sure I'm okay in this position because there's only blue and then brown here, but none of them are firing. Okay, so that's that. And he was already disrupted anyway, so I suppose that could have been worse. So next is this one, and it's same situation. It has US units, it's field of fire, it's yellow, which triggers the R action on the card, as we can see. So it's going to resupply as well. It's going to get a depth marker and fire. So now that's going to hit 2. It's got 2 hits to dish out. And, right, well we know now it's a circle on the card, right? So we're looking for intense circles in yellow first. That's right, isn't it, Grant? Yeah. Okay, so that is, and that's a circle. Well, that's a circle 2. But it picks steps next, doesn't it? What's underneath this? That's a circle as well. Yeah, I'd love to be able to hit one of them, but I think I've got to pick that. I'm gonna. Right, let's remind myself. Japanese fire. So we know the priority. It doesn't tell you in this chart, does it? It doesn't give you a list of how you look at priorities, does it? think I did in some of the older games. Maybe not them all, admittedly. Right, so we know that the first priority that's been confirmed, that it does want a symbol first. Doesn't need to be closest, does want the symbol. And then the priority is closer, and then most steps, and then your choice. Okay? So this is yellow, isn't it? That's steady, so we're still looking intense. Oh, that's intense. And that probably doesn't stretch out to there. So we've got intense here, 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 and I'd assume here? Yeah. Okay, so we've got 4 hexes with intense. We need 2 hits out of them. We're looking for the symbol, and then closest. So it would probably, this guy's not going to get hit, I don't think. Right, let me look through and find if there's any circles in there. Okay, I've just moved it. These are in this hex as well. It's just awkward with the stacks. This is actually just a 1 step. He's only got 1 step left. He's a circle. And this is stacks in here. So I'm not sure what's in here yet. Right, that's the unit with its step loss markers. So is that, right, there's no circles in here. We're only dishing out 2 hits, so aren't we? Yeah, okay. So that is fine. So yeah, our hits are going to be this guy, because we've got to pick most steps. And he's not disrupted, though, that's a good thing. He does have, it's a revealed unit, so that's pretty good actually. So there's his step loss marker that he drew. Not disrupted. Back on top. That's one of the 2 hits, and then the second hit is going to be, because we're looking at the symbol, it's going to be this guy here, and he's going to be eliminated. So we can take all that away and pop them back in there. I mean, the good thing about all that is, well, this has the CC requirement, doesn't it? I mean, but he's just built depth, and I was frightened to go in against depth. And I've also finding out that each time, Martin he just asked this question recently. If we go in and CC, say I move this stack into CC, I've got to draw a fire card to see if they fire at that moment before the CC even occurs. And I think Martin's question was that, what was something, it made deliberate close combat rather worse. You know what, I didn't read it fully, and I didn't read it slowly enough, Martin. Yeah, I'll get around to it. Okay, so this guy's eliminated, and that's the 2 hits taken. And I think this guy's going to go somewhere, isn't he? So he's a loss for the 2nd Marine Division, so I'm going to put him in there, the 2nd Marine Division loss box. And that's our first eliminated unit that counts towards catastrophic loss. Anyway, we did lose an LVT. Okay, so that's yellow fired. Now remember, we do also have to consider empty positions. Both for the M and the R, actually. So that's purple. We passed an empty purple there, but it's got to be within 3. 1, 2, 3. Not quite. It's just outside. But the M action for an unoccupied in communication US units within 3 hexes is muster, which is place a reserve unit in the position with a depth marker. So it's pretty bad as well. Doesn't fire, but so that's too far away. You can see there's an empty purple up there as well. That's too far away. We've resolved this. There is green on the card, but the green is just a normal fire, so it needs to be occupied. Right? There's nothing going to happen if it's unoccupied. And then, right, moving along, we have a yellow up there, with no US units in field of fire. We've not got red, not got blue, no. Yeah, so that's the next one. I'm trying to go along that way, So yellow, no units in its field of fire. Let's go. No. I wish they hadn't put these colours on there. I wish they had left them, because I keep getting muddled up. I'm looking at the yellow there, and when I'm looking at I'm looking there thinking it's the M, and it's not. We've got them exactly round the wrong way. We've got the R for yellow and the M for purple. And when you look at this, you can see the other way about. And I'm getting I need to watch. So that yellow is an R action, right? So it's an R action, and it's not got US units in its field of fire. It's occupied, no US units in its field of fire. Japanese unit and depth marker, if present, moves to new position if conditions in 13.5 apply, then may fire. So, I want to go by the old way of looking at it. I think it was maybe within 2 or 3 hexes, so I think the best he's going to do is move there. He's not going to be able to move there, fortunately. So that would be nasty. Let's hope he can, anyway. So this is the first of me looking at some lettered action instructions. So give me a sec. Okay, so page 25, 13.5, redeploy action. Eligible position, a Japanese occupied position with no US units in its field of fire. The Japanese unit and its depth marker, if any, redeployed to another position hex. If the new position is unoccupied and within 3 hexes of its current position, okay, it was what I thought then, and closer to the nearest US unit, and then the first bullet is quite nice because it says if these conditions are not met, the position conducts no action. So within 3, it can't reach here, like I said, fortunately. It could reach here, but where's its nearest? Would that be getting nearer? Its nearest US unit is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're all 5 away. So if he moved there, 1, 2, 3. Oh, right. Well, he is getting closer, isn't he? So I guess he does move. Everything's 5 away from him. If he was to move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, he's then 4 away. Think so. Unoccupied, within 3 hexes of its current position, and obviously that is 1, 2, 3 away. Closer to the nearest US unit. I mean, although they're all as close, that would get closer to one of them. So I give that a... now whether you had... Is there priorities here? Well, if there is more than one qualifying position hex, well, there is not. Place the unit and its depth marker, if any, in a position hex according to the following priorities. So there's not another option there. What I was thinking was... Well, no, that would mean there would have to be another option, Grant. Yeah, sorry, just ignore me there. And then, if after redeploying, if any US units are in the newly occupied position's field of fire, conduct fire regardless of the colour of the new position. So he'd still fire, you know. If he was within 3 of that, he'd move into there and fire. Brutal. Okay, so he's actually going to move to A17, I believe. There you go. Which doesn't really do anything. Now, we then don't carry out that as being an empty and look at that. We also don't look at that. Well, we don't have blue in the card, so I can ignore that. That's fine. Right, move along, Grant. Okay, so what's next? We've got blue, which we've got occupied. Brown is not on the card. Next one in line is, okay, we've got a purple here. So purple, now this is the one, this has got the M action then, okay? And does it have units in its field of fire? Maybe not, actually. Not there. Not there. Okay, so it's one of these hexes that just kind of shoots round about itself. Let's just double check. Stop. Yeah, I'm forgetting about the beach hexes, eh? I mean, it doesn't fire into this one, but it fires into this one. Okay, so it does have units in its field of fire. Looking at the M action. M. Occupied US units in its field of fire. MG. Steady field of fire is intense field of fire. hexes adjacent to steady field of fire are also steady field of fire. Well, I don't think that's going to affect us here. Does it give you any more information in the rules about that? Machine gun action. Japanese occupied position with US units in its field of fire and with machine gun listed. Well, and with machine gun listed as an available weapon. Ooh. Well, we don't know. How do we know? We need to flip it over. That's a bit bizarre. And this was not in the... I know they had a machine gun action in older games, but it didn't have machine gun on the actual unit. And yeah, I mean, it's talking about, like, this guy here. If this was him, then he's got machine gun on him. Because Martin pointed that out to me. So it says, well, Japanese occupied position with US units in its field of fire and with machine gun listed as an available weapon. I think that just doesn't apply then, which is a bit weird. All steady field of fire... Well, if it did, I don't think it's going to affect us, because it says all steady field of fire hexes become intense. Well, you can see this purple position. He's only firing the 6 hexes round about him, and this hex here. That's all he's doing, and it's all intense. So the steady part does not do anything. And then the next part is US occupied hexes that are not in the position's field of fire, but are adjacent to the position's steady field of fire hexes are also within that position's steady field of fire. Well, again, there's no steady field of fire, so that's not going to do anything. But well, curious to know about how we would just ignore that because the unit's not revealed and we don't know if it's a machine gun unit. That's my question of the day. Well, for the moment. There might be more. Okay, so he's on his own. He's going to hit one unit in here. We're looking for a circle. Let's see what we've got. We've got a triangle. And we have a circle. Oh, we got lucky there then. So it's going to hit this engineer unit and disrupt it. So I'll put the engineer down the bottom with a disruption marker on him. And then the rest can go on top. Actually, hang on. I mean, does this actually fire? Because it doesn't say that it fires, it just says what I've read. Steady field of fire is intense. All steady field of fire hexes become intenser. US occupied hexes are not in the position's field of fire. I don't know, I mean, I was just assuming it still fires as normal with that additional machine gun part, but it should really say that. You know, it doesn't say and fire. Well, it's just a sort of an addition. You think it would say in the rules though, you know, then fire is normal or something, or, you know, or if there's not a machine gun listed, fire is normal. Okay. Well, what I'm thinking that's still going to happen. So the fact is in a wee engineer unit, I'll just put it in there. It'll be probably a bit before I get around to the US action phase anyway. And I might go and ask that question just to confirm. Okay, next, and we wouldn't be looking at this blue. Remember, this is the one that moved. However, blue is not on the card anyway. Next one is the yellow position here. Now, it doesn't have units in its field of fire. Had a look, and we're looking at the R action. Occupied, but no US units field of fire. Japanese unit and depth marker. Oh, this is redeploy again then. Oh, don't. No, that's not nice. Don't do that. It's going to move to here, isn't it? Well, tell you what. I'll tell you what, it might not be. Just with a sort of a bit of luck, maybe. Redeploy action. Japanese occupied position with no US units in its field of fire. Yes, that's correct. The Japanese unit and its depth marker, if any, it's not got one, redeploy to an unpositioned hex if the new position is unoccupied. Right, now the only position it can move to is here. It's only one within 3 hexes, which we know is part of the conditions. So the first condition is unoccupied. Yeah. And within 3 hexes of its current position. Yes. And closer to the nearest US unit. So, man, you've got to think that at the moment the nearest US is what you're looking at. At the moment, what is the nearest US unit? Nearest US unit is this stack here in the red. So it's 2 away. It's 3 away from everything else, and in particular, it's 3 away from this. Now, if it moved there, it would be 1 away from that. However, if it moved there, it's still going to be 2 away from that. So I get the feeling we get lucky with that, and that does not move. However, it does feel a bit iffy. Now, this isn't where you can step in and say if you were the human player, because this is not a 2-player game. This is all AI based. You know, clearly, if you were in control, you would feel like this was a better position, but you can't do that. You've got to just go by what the rules say. And we might be getting out of that. Well, I'm going to take that one. So again, this will be recorded anyway, and if anybody wants to say that is wrong, and I should be getting closer to this, because I would be I'd be adjacent to 2 US units. But at the moment, this is the closest unit. If I move there, it is not any closer to it. Okay? So I'm going to use that loophole to get out of that one. And it's not that I'm trying to bypass any rules. By all means, tell me if, no, that's wrong, Grant, you should still move there. And if that's the case, then fair enough. But the way I'm reading it, it's not. Okay, moving on. We've got a red up there. Red doesn't fire. Right, green is firing. We then come down to blue and red, which aren't doing anything. And then there's brown. We've got this yellow situation here, and there's a bit of purple. Right, let's look at the green though. So green's occupied. It's just doing the normal fire action though. So it needs something in its field of fire. Okay, I thought we were getting away with that because there's nothing in its it's in its field of fire apart from this hex here. It's got a steady field of fire into here, and I thought, well, as long as we've not got a circle, don't. So yeah, that's bad. So G28 takes a hit and takes a disruption because that unit's unrevealed because it's steady field of fire. So yeah. That was a bit of a shame. Right, there's his step loss marker, and we'll get him disrupted. Okay, so that's that done. Like I said, blue, red down there. Brown is empty, but brown's not on the card. Next one, brown. Well, we'll look at this. Got a foreign object there. We'll look at the purple. It's a purple M action. So my guess is no units in its field of fire with that one. Yeah, nothing down there. So it's in the M action with no units in its field of fire. So it's occupied. No US units in field of fire, mortar fire. It's got a 1 in brackets there. 1, Japanese position must have non-destroyed artillery. Japanese position must have non-destroyed artillery. Really? Well, that's not going to be the case. That's weird. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but it says on the card, US units with target symbol on fire card within 3 hexes, 4 hexes for a hilltop position, take 1 step loss. So I mean, it would have stretched out to here and here and here. However, mortar, where's mortar action? occupy Japanese position with no US units in its field of fire and possessing an intact artillery position. Right, well that's not happening then. Yeah, okay, so we're not doing nothing with that. It's not mortar firing. That's a bit strange because there's only 4 hexes that have got the artillery. Am I reading that right? And possessing an intact artillery position. So they need to be in a hex with the artillery. Okay, well there's another one. Tell me if I've got that wrong, but that would mean there's only 4 hexes that mortar action could apply to. And from game turn 5 it's the same. It's got the 1 in brackets. What's the 2 in brackets says Japanese position cannot have destroyed artillery. Assault, yeah. Right, okay, well we'll get to that. Well, okay, it seems like it doesn't do it then. Let me know if I've got something wrong there. Because, again, seems a little bit odd. Right, so yellow's next. We've got the R action. Now, this has got depth and a pillbox. Pillbox is probably irrelevant. But we've got the R action, and I guess we've got units in our field of fire. Yeah, we do. So, R with occupied US units in field of fire. Resupply. If no depth markers present, add depth marker to Japanese occupied position, and then fire. Well, it's got depth. So it's going to fire. It's going to fire at 2. It's going to hit 2. Dish out 2 hits. So yeah, my guess is here and here it can hit. Looking for circles. Yeah, well, as we can see, this is going to be 1 hit. There'll not be another one in there though. There'll not be another circle in there. So well, this is 1 hit. So I need to. No, I don't flip it over, Grant. I just get a step loss marker for it. It's going to be disrupted as well. Right, so I'll get that sorted first. Yeah, no. I can't select the tank anyway, can I? I've got to select most steps next. Well, nearest, but they're both 2 hexes away, so... yeah, so I've got to pick one of the 2 companies, haven't I? So, yeah. Doesn't really matter. So we'll take that guy that's there. Step loss for him. And disrupted as well. So we'll sort that out. Yeah, okay, that was kind of bad. You can see if yellow hadn't got this undisrupted though, this would have been pretty good up to now. That's just only halfway through, admittedly. But yeah, so... But I suppose we could have drawn worse colours maybe on the card. I think anyway. I feel like... I looked down at this corner here and was quite happy about it, but I've already said that empty yellow position is going to bite us. Anyway, let's move on, Grant. What have we got next? There's a card up there just to get an idea. That's just moving on. Blue was there, that's nothing. Red is not there anyway. There's purple, but we're occupying it, so we can tie that up. Yeah, the empty ones that are far away we don't need to look at. However, we do still need to look at occupied. There's an occupied purple that's not got units in its field of fire. We're on the M action. So it's occupied when no US units in the field of fire. So that would be mortar fire as well. Which, again, I don't think that's artillery. Damn. Knew I would do it once. I noticed the 2, so... But I can't really change it because these are positioned... You know what, I'm just going to put it back, guys. I noticed the 2, I didn't notice the weapon requirements on it. I'm going to put it back, I'm going to forget what it is. It's away, and you know what, I might not even be getting there. So... Yeah, it's the crease of the maps there, and that's what nudged it when I pulled it. I slid it across. Anyway, so no mortar fire there. Blue and green, we just do a normal fire. This yellow, however, is occupied. It's got the R action, occupied with no US units. So it's wanting to redeploy. So I move with its depth marker. Yeah, I think that's going to move to that blue position, isn't it? The nearest are down here. That's clearly nearer. That wouldn't be as near. This would be near. It's within 3. It's going to move with its depth marker down to the blue position. Yeah, going to go with that. I think that's pretty straightforward. Hopefully. Okay, right, moving on. That's an hour and 10 minutes. Try to keep this to an hour and a half at most if possible. Oops, sorry. So yeah, that's just done that yellow. Right, I think the next one's going to be this yellow and this green. So this could hurt a little bit, because that's going to get depth as well, isn't it? Yeah, so it's going to get, no, hang on, it's not, yeah, it is the R. That's the R. The yellow's the R, Grant. Purple's the M. Right, so it's going to gain depth and fire. So yeah, this is brutal, because green's also going to fire. So yeah, alright, let me look at what our possible hits are here. Okay, right, this is the intense yellow, and this is intense yellow, and that's it. This is steady. Let's say this is steady as well, I think, yeah. That's only 2 intense yellow. So this has the symbol. This is definitely taking a hit. So get a counter for that. Okay, so step loss and disruption for that guy. Now, he's been hit because green steady fire goes into there, so we can't hit him again. And this is where I used to like turn him 45 degrees just to remind myself. Hopefully I'll remember. I'm hopefully just going to finish this part off and be done with it. So that's our first hit, but remember this has got depth. So here is where I think we get lucky though, because no, it's no, Grant. It's going to hit the tank, which isn't terrible, because the priority is intense, isn't it? Before we look at symbols, the priority is intense. That's right, isn't it? Pretty sure that's always been the case, that one. The fact that they then look at symbols is something that's changed. Priority 1, unit in hexes with an intense field of fire. And then if after checking all them. So yeah, these were the only 2 intense hexes in yellow. So the thing is, green was firing intense into there. Well, green, you know what? Oh no, it's not. That's steady green in there, and what is in here? That's steady green as well. Steady green, intense green, and no green. Ooh, because remember, you've got to make sure that you're hitting. Well, the thing is, he can, well, maybe not. He can definitely hit this, is what I'm saying. So is there a circle? Well, no, there is circles in there. There's circles in there. So he will have a hit. So I think I carry on with this. And again, I'm doing it in column order, if you like. I know the hexes go that way, but you can see how I'm doing it from, well, it's actually north to south. But, you know, left to right, I'm doing it. So this is firing first. It's hit there. It's going to hit here. I'm going to go with that. So that is hit. Now, that was armor and intense. It's still disrupted. Yeah, I don't see why not. Was there something I could have done there? The thing is, it's not stabbing anybody else, so I don't think so. I think we just got to soak that up, haven't we? Attack may absorb 2 hits for 1 step loss. May absorb 2 hits for 1 step loss. I don't know what does that mean? Attack may absorb 2 hits. Ah, okay. So it could take 2 hits and just take 1 step loss. If the step loss is not inflicted by an armor hit on the Japanese fire card, and no ES unit's target symbol matches the target symbol on the fire card. Yeah. Well, yeah, so I'm just wondering if there was no circles, then we could have taken the 2 hits on that as one step loss. Yeah, but the likelihood of that, because the circles in there as well, and they're steady fire, admittedly. Right, yeah, tanks hit, tanks disrupted. That's yellow fired. Right, green's firing. Now, that's his intense hex, but he can't hit that again. That's blue. Yeah, green doesn't stretch to there. So we've got a steady fire here and a steady fire here. Oh, hang on, Grant. This is intense down here. Yeah. No, it's not so good then, because we've got an LVT and LVTA in there, and I thought I was going to be able to hit them. So, yeah, I should have looked down here, shouldn't I? But that's not... That is an intense green. That is not as well. But again, the priority is intense even before we come to symbol. So it is going to hit in this hex. This guy's already taken a step loss. He's going to be hit again. Flip him over. Step loss counter goes away, and he is disrupted because the fire is unrevealed. Okay, right, let's get this finished. Again, a purple position here with depth. No yes units to field the fire. That's the mortar fire again, isn't it? Oh no. Yeah, it is. Again, I'm looking at the wrong letters. We're M action. Occupied, no yes units to field the fire. Mortar fire. Again, needs to be in a position that's got artillery, which we think. Again, somebody tell me if I've got that wrong. Into yellow up there, no. Brown here is fine. That yellow's occupied by us. Blue. Right, now we're getting down to this side, which would have been great if it hadn't been for that empty yellow position that I'd spotted. Now, purple, no artillery position. Does not fire into there. So again, I think that's going to be a mortar fire that just doesn't work again. It feels strange, that one. Okay. Green unoccupied, doesn't matter, it's just a normal fire action. We have red in here, which doesn't do anything. Brown's not in the car, blue's not in the car. We thought we were getting wonderfully lucky here. However, this is going to bite us. Could be worse, maybe. Yeah, but it could have been so much. I mean, if we had access to all of this, it would have made perfect. It would have been perfect. But, well. Not to be, Grant. Plus, I might have even had a wee artillery barrage at that. Oh, I might still do. Not artillery barrage. Well, actually, yeah, we've got artillery points now. So maybe. Anyway, this is going to get us because it's empty. And this is the R action. It is unoccupied and it's in communication. Yep. And it's within 3 hexes of a US unit. So it's going to reinforce. We're going to place a reserve unit with a depth marker and fire if US unit in field of fire. Well, yes. US units are going to be in field of fire. So, yeah, fire's in there too. Yeah, that's naughty. That's naughty, but maybe some of you are thinking, well, it wasn't that bad a fire phase, Grant. Maybe apart from that, but yeah, you're always going to get something. It's never going to be a perfect Japanese fire phase. I don't think anybody said that in any DDR game. Okay, well, this is when we need to place a reserve unit though, with a depth marker and fire. So we need to really know how we're doing this. Now, I'm at a stage where I really kind of need to get away now. So I'm wondering if I could just cut it there and we could come back to finish that off just before moving on to the US action phase later on today. That just because I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go and look and find out about this deploy, about deploying the reserve unit and how the tank comes into it and whatever. It might just be a case of mixing them all up and drawing one randomly. I'm not sure. Probably is. And it might give a bit of time for somebody to look at part 15 and maybe comment on it as well. Sorry, I'm just looking about for my wee dog who she's underneath me, right, under the chair. Okay, so I think I'll do that. So we'll just leave that. I think that's the last bit to do is we're going to place a reserve, it's a depth marker as well, isn't it? Yeah, and then we're going to fire. And that will end the action phase. This one's empty, but it's not within 3 of a US unit. So, yeah. And then blue does not fire, doesn't on the card. So I'll leave that there, and we'll wrap this up. And I'll come back to finish that last action there. And then we'll move on and hopefully get the US action phase done tonight as well. And then maybe get to the end of this turn today. And we'll see how we're feeling then and see if any more answers come in. And that was good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the bit of head scratching regarding the mortar fire. Also that possible deploy movement of the unit there, wasn't it? I mean, should it have moved? Again, maybe it's quite a good idea to get this video out there and then somebody might grab and sort of say, no, Grant, that should still move and I can catch it before we get on to the US action phase. So we'll see if we can achieve that as well. Right, I'll get away for now rather than rabbiting on too much and be back sometime later this afternoon. Okay, cheers.